Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at noon starts now.
This new year is bringing change, and this time it is for the weather. Some seasonable weather is in our midst. Is that snow on radar?
Could it be? I saw some
Crazy.
this
In
afternoon
Michigan?
downtown, and I was delighted.
I know. It's been a long time coming here at noon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Rhonda Walker.
I'm Jason Colthorpe as we bring in Ashley Barrissey. You know who else sees that and gets excited? Those guys that run the snow plows and count on that during the wintertime.
Yeah, no kidding. You know, we're coming off nearly a snowless December. We picked up 0.2 of an inch on New Year's Eve, and that's all that we had here in Metro Detroit this past year. So we are really due for some snow out there. Right now, it's just been kind of a fine mist that we've been dealing with, or some freezing drizzle, and you can see how it's lowered visibility a little bit in the city. Detroit's at 36 degrees, Howell right at 32, same in Pontiac, a degree above freezing in Adrian, but with westerly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour, it will feel a little cooler out there. Putting ExactTrack 4D on, you can see the light shade of pink here, stretching from northern Oakland County off into a good portion of Livingston County, including Howell there, and down just north of Northfield into Washtenaw County. That's where we're likely seeing a little bit of freezing drizzle, which means coming down is a fine mist or light rain, but could freeze on contact, given that our surface temperatures are still kind of hovering right around the freezing mark. So some precip as far as checking in sky conditions in Pontiac and at Metro Airport. The rest of us dealing with a little bit of fog and cloud cover, as low as 3-mile visibility from City Airport all the way off towards Washtenaw County. It's your forecast the rest of the afternoon, maybe a flake or two flying, but we hover in the mid-30s. We'll talk about some snow chances over the next few days coming up. And if you are going to be tracking any kind of precipitation on the go, you want to make sure you download the Forewarn Weather app if you haven't done so already.
We are following some breaking news out of Lansing, where the state capitol has been closed for the rest of the day. The alert that was posted on social media did not offer more details than that, but the Detroit News is reporting House and Senate employees are saying they were told during an evacuation there was a bomb threat. The paper also reporting those threats were reported at state capitals in Connecticut, Kentucky, and Mississippi. Obviously, we'll be watching this situation and have more for you as we learn it. We're expecting to see new video of a fatal police chase in Warren within the hour.
This was the scene at 10 Mile and Ryan after an unnamed driver took off from a traffic stop. When officers asked him for ID, he then ignored a red light and slammed into an F-150 and a Penske truck. The chase lasted only 3 minutes. Firefighters tried to rescue the man from the car that was crushed under the truck, but were unable to. No one else was hurt. That conference is scheduled for 1 o'clock. And Detroit police expected to release the rest of its crime statistics for 2023 this afternoon.
Yeah, DPD has already announced major drops in the homicide and violent crime rates. In fact, the city saw the fewest homicides since 1966. Police credit working with the courts and prosecutor's office to clear a backlog of old felony gun cases. We'll be streaming that press conference as well. Have it for you on Local 4+.
And a man from New Jersey set to be in federal court today over what prosecutors are calling an elaborate kidnapping attempt against his ex-girlfriend that unfolded on Christmas. George Mandakaris, he is accused of trying to kidnap his ex-girlfriend from a Trenton church on Christmas Eve. Police say they found rope, handcuffs, and weapons in the man's car. He's going to be in court at 1 p.m.
We should have 3 new members of the Michigan Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission today. 2 Democrats and a Republican resigned at the end of the last year and will be replaced through a blind draw process. This comes as a federal court is set to weigh in on how Michigan will redraw maps of 13 Metro Detroit voting districts. Today, former staffers to Lee Chatfield, the former Republican Speaker of the State House, will be arraigned on running a criminal enterprise. Ann and Bob Menard are also accused of embezzlement of about $500,000 from money raised to help the House GOP. Both have been charged and will be back in court. Again, those charges: running a criminal enterprise and embezzlement. A top Hamas leader killed in a drone strike near Lebanon, and now Israel braces for retaliation. Hamas and Lebanese officials blaming Israel for that attack, but Israel hasn't commented.
NBC's Drew Petramel tells us there are signs that the violence of the Israel-Hamas war may expand to other countries.
Experts have been warning that the war between Israel and Hamas could spiral out of control and draw in other countries in the region as well as the U.S. Now violence is crossing borders and ramping up on the high seas. This morning, fears of war escalation in the Middle East after the assassination of a top Hamas official in Lebanon. Salah al-Aruri, the deputy head of Hamas's military wing, among 7 people killed in a drone strike at the terrorist group's office in a Beirut suburb. So far, Israeli officials are not taking responsibility for the attack.
Who does it benefit?
Right.
It benefits the Israelis to kill him, and they did so, almost certainly. Hard to imagine anybody else.
With protests erupting in the West Bank, Israel is bracing for retaliation, not just from Hamas, but also from its Lebanon-based ally Hezbollah. And now Iran reportedly sending a warship to the Red Sea, where 10 Iranian-backed Houthi rebels were killed over the weekend during a firefight with U.S. military helicopters.
Tensions are rising. It's a more significant risk of a wider war.
In Gaza, the suffering continues. The health ministry says more than 22,000 people have been killed since the war started. 15-year-old Ahmad Abu Daqqa spoke last month at the UN about the plight of children in Gaza. Now he pleads for help from a hospital bed.
I am just like 500,000 boys and girls are having pain and tasting all the meaning of fear here in Gaza.
Israel says it will pull back some troops in the coming days to keep pace for a long-term conflict. The new year failing to produce any prospects for an end to the bloodshed. Yesterday, Israel's cabinet postponed a meeting to discuss Israel's new plan for Gaza after the war. An Israeli official telling NBC News the plan involves local Gazan clans or tribes handling civilian governance while Israel controls security indefinitely. In Washington, Drew Petromo, NBC News.
All right, Drew, the national debt has hit a new record, more than $34 trillion. Experts pointing to higher borrowing costs and fewer tax receipts as some of the reasons. Some economists believe this could hurt the country's fiscal health, but others think it's fine as long as the economy remains strong. Most Lions fans aren't letting go of the latest controversy to rock the team. You, of course, know the controversy. It was the 2-point try with the Lions. This is the video the league sent out kind of explaining it, which was another kick in the teeth, basically blaming the Lions players for some reason, even though they demoted the referees. Now, we want to show you some billboards that have been going up around Metro Detroit. I don't know if we have that video, but I'll explain it to you. They're obviously put up by some Lions fans pointing out that the Lions were in the right here.
So let's get to Sean Lay to get a closer look at those billboards and the conversation that just will not end.
And to report to the record. Well, let me show you in big, bold Honolulu blue on a billboard here and all over town. This one right along the lodge here coming out of downtown. You can see what's going on here. Hell has no fury compared to a Lions fan when yet again a controversial call takes a win away from them. And what I want to show you, it's already making worldwide news. Lions-related messages are now beaming across the city on multiple electronic billboards. Probably can see them from Dallas. The message, the Lions' record after the debacle in Dallas, the record is 11-5. That's been crossed out and corrected by a furious Lions fan. All this from the play you've likely seen over and over again, a breathtaking finish last weekend in Dallas. Lions needed a 2-point conversion for the win. Head coach Dan Campbell dialing up some trickery by having an offensive lineman, Taylor Decker, go out for a pass and catch it. Game over. But a flag comes in at the end of the game, again against the Lions. The call that when a lineman lines up for a pass or changes his position, he has to tell the officials that. He goes up and says, hey, look out for this. The officials tell the defense it's only fair, they say. He has to tell the officials, and the officials insist Decker did not report to them the change of position. Flag, 2 points taken away, and an L handed to those hungry Lions. The other billboard rolling here is Decker reported. You just can't miss it. The loss in Dallas is a big deal because the Lions make a run in the playoffs. This may take away a home playoff game later in the playoffs. From the Lodge Freeway and these billboards, more on Local 4 News starting at 5. Sean Lay, Local 4.